traps. Now they knew I wasn't just running. Mom's voice carried through the trees, that same business tone she used for everything. She was on her phone talking about timing and bonuses if they finished within the hour. Yes, both packages are in play, she said. Premium rates apply for completion before midnight. My stomach burned with rage so hot I almost threw up. She was negotiating our deaths like a pizza delivery. I wanted to scream at her, but Arabella needed me to stay smart. The creek curved ahead and I remembered every rock from my practice runs. Step exactly where I step, I told Arabella. The first rock was stable, but the second would shift if you hit it wrong. Third rock, skip the fourth, land on the fifth with your left foot. Arabella followed perfectly even though she was shaking. The water covered the sound of our breathing and washed away our scent. Upstream about 200 yards was the maintenance shed. We could make it if we stayed in the water. Behind us came more shouting and I heard Trevor's voice cutting through it all. Shut up and listen, he said. They're smart enough to use the water. How did the mom even find people who would pay to hunt kids? The way she trained her own child like some kind of survival expert while selling these hunts is so twisted. I wonder if she learned these tactics somewhere or just figured them out herself to make more money. You two follow the north bank, we'll take south. His voice was so calm it scared me more than the screaming. At the fork where the creek split, I stopped. The left path was faster and I knew every hiding spot. The right path was longer but had more cover. Arabella's hand in mine was so small and cold. She was trusting me completely even though she didn't know me at all. The choice was easy. We stayed together no matter what because I wasn't letting go of her hand. We took the right fork, moving slow and careful through the freezing water. The cold made Arabella stumble on a sharp rock and slice her knee open pretty bad. Blood mixed with creek water as I pulled her behind a big boulder where the bank curved. I grabbed the gauze from my pocket and wrapped it tight around the cut while teaching her our signals real quick. 1 squeeze meant stop, 2 meant danger, 3 meant run like hell. She squeezed back twice to show she got it. The wound wasn't deep, but it was bleeding enough to leave a trail if we weren't careful. I cupped my hands and made that same whistling sound Mom taught me for making hunts more exciting. The sound echoed off the rocks and trees to the west of where we actually were. 2 of the hunters started yelling at each other about which direction it came from. Their voices bounced around, making it hard to tell exactly where they were, but I knew they'd waste time checking the wrong area. We kept moving upstream until something caught my eye stuck in a tree trunk at head height. An arrow, still vibrating slightly from impact. Trevor's work for sure. Barely missed us by inches when we'd passed earlier. I worked it free, careful not to snap the shaft, because an arrow is a weapon, and weapons make things more fair. The carbon fiber arrow was expensive, balanced, with a razor-sharp broadhead tip. Now it was mine. Through the trees I could hear that low hum from the generator I'd memorized during our morning walk. It powered all the cameras and lights Mom had installed over the years. The sound helped me figure out exactly where we were in the dark, and which way to go to reach the power hub. If I could cut the main cable, we'd have way more blind spots to move through without being tracked. We climbed out of the creek, and I led Arabella through thick brush toward the electrical box. My hands were numb from cold, but I managed to get the box cutter blade out and started sawing at the thick cable feeding the eastern camera bank. The rubber coating was tough, and my frozen fingers kept slipping, but finally the blade bit through copper. Sparks flew, and 5 camera lights blinked out at once, creating the dark corridor we needed to reach the northern fence. The hunters were shouting to each other now without even trying to be quiet. They hadn't expected any resistance, and their communication was getting sloppy from frustration and maybe too much whiskey. I counted 4 distinct voices, which meant one was staying quiet or circling wide to cut us off. That worried me more than the loud ones. Behind a fallen oak tree.
Click the link in my bio to get the full story for free.